Part 12. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 111. According to rumors, it is possible to cultivate the innate Xian Huang body with Xian Huang Qi. When Zhang Chen heard this, his eyes lit up and he became interested. The innate Xian Huang body is a supreme physique that only appeared in the mythical era. Some people say that it is a divine body, while others say that it is a supreme immortal body. No matter what the explanation is, it is all about how terrifying the innate Xian Huang body is. Because the innate Xian Huang body can be cultivated to produce innate Xian Huang Qi. What are the two Qi of Xian Huang? It is recorded in ancient books that Xian is the essence of heaven and Huang is the essence of heaven. The marrow of the earth, so Xian Huang represents the heaven and earth. Since then, Xian Huang Qi has also been said to be the mother Qi of all things. If you get a ray of it, you can imprint the origin of heaven and earth. You can imagine how amazing the world is for those with innate Xian Huang bodies. Talent. It is the innate Xian Huang body. Venerable Zhan Tian nodded, and then said, "You have to be careful, this person will be a strong enemy." If you guessed it right, Bai Ziu's physique must have undergone transformation during his ban. This transformation does not refer to the changes in the innate Xian Huang body, but to Bai Ziu's physical body. When living beings are sealed in the immortal source, their longevity and vitality will be completely blocked and will not pass away. However, the Xian Huang Qi is not blocked by the immortal source. In other words, Bai Ziu has not been able to cultivate well since he was banned. There will be the slightest improvement. But his body, tempered by the black and yellow energy for endless years, is definitely no longer a mortal body. Is it? This is getting more and more interesting. When Zhang Chen heard this, a smile appeared on his face. In this way, Bai Ziu's luck and origin are definitely not weak. As for the innate Xian Huang body, no matter how strong it is, Zhang Chen doesn't think it can compete with him. The innate chaotic Tao body. After all, the innate Xian Huang body has appeared in history. But the innate chaotic Tao body has not even been recorded. Because this kind of Tao body is based on the innate chaotic divine body. Starting point, it is ridiculously high. Of course, as the ancients said, in this world, no physique is truly invincible. Only people can enter the realm of invincibility. Ancestor Altar. In the fifth ancestral land, the three ancestors all appeared in their true forms. Over there in the first demon cave, how's your inquiring going? The third ancestor, who was in the middle position and was the oldest, looked at the seventh ancestor and the 12th ancestor. While preparing for the successor's memorial ceremony, they were not idle, and were exploring the situation of the first demon cave. The ancient ancestor's seal is still there, making it impossible to enter the inner area. The 12 ancestors shook his head. The sacrifices that were put in before are also safe and sound, I'm afraid. The seventh ancestor also spoke slowly. Although the sacrificial ceremony will only be performed at a specific time. But if there are normal sacrifices, the taboo creature will still be devoured. Now, the sacrifices that went to test were not refined by that creature. What does that mean? Could it be that, as the 12 ancestors said, that forbidden creature has returned to normal? The price is that Zhang Chen becomes a vessel of that void bloodline? If that's the case, things will be in trouble. Zhang Chen insists on entering the demonic cave. After a long silence, the third patriarch asked again. Yes, the attitude is very firm and cannot be stopped. The 12 ancestor nodded. If it were other young people, they would not pay attention at all. But Zhang Chen was different. The sacrifice had already alienated them. If they try to stop them now, then there is no point in letting Zhang Chen become the heir to the ancestral land. Do you need to ask your ancestor for advice on this matter? The seventh ancestor said. Now they are in a dilemma. Since they can't make a choice, they should naturally ask the ancient ancestor for instructions. After all, this matter is related to the future of their ancestral land. Oh! At this moment, a simple sound, the Wookiee immortal talisman, fell from the sky without warning. Even the three ancestors were shocked, because they had not noticed the arrival of the immortal talisman before. Allow. After looking closely, these three ancestors all looked moved. On that ancient immortal talisman, there is only one word accurate: the breath of the ancient ancestor. So, the ancient ancestor agreed to let Zhang Chen go to the first demon cave. The third ancestor, the seventh ancestor, and the 12th ancestor are naturally no strangers to the aura of the ancient ancestor, and they are excited and excited. It's not right. There has been no movement over the ancestor's coffin. The ancestor must not have woken up. Then this ancestral talisman. But then, the 12 ancestors seemed to have discovered something. After sensing it, he hesitated to speak. It seems that the ancient ancestor had already seen this situation before falling asleep. When the third ancestor and the seventh ancestor heard this, they all reacted and spoke in amazement. Ancient ancestor-level existences can travel in the long river of time, and are not eroded by time, nor contaminated by the cause and effect of all things. The three of them, although they have reached the level countless years ago, half a step to the supreme ancestor. However, it is this small half-step that makes it impossible for them to cross it. Of course, not only them, there are existences like them in all the great sects of the world. Some have even been I have been trapped for several epochs. You can imagine how difficult it is to set foot in the supreme ancestral realm. Since Guziu has already made arrangements, I don't have to worry too much. Looking at the dissipated ancestral talisman, the seventh ancestor said, "The time has come and the succession ceremony can begin." The third ancestor also nodded and said. After the heart disease was eliminated, the three ancestors immediately took action vigorously and resolutely. Soon, the news that the succession ceremony was about to begin spread in the fifth ancestor's land. The young geniuses of the major ancestors, all they are gathering towards the ancient magic platform. It is rumored that the ancient magic platform is the place where the first ancient ancestor achieved enlightenment in the fifth ancestor land. Since the first ancient ancestor mysteriously disappeared, the ancient magic platform has become the place where the inheritance ceremony is held. In a sense, this is also a memorial to the original ancestor who originally created the ancestral land. A ball of flames dozens of feet long, like a blazing sun, came across the sky. The countless creatures from the ancestral land who gathered were all frightened and screamed. Tianhuo ancient clan. Is Tianhuo coming? If it weren't for Taisha demon's son, the position of successor to this ancestral land would belong to none other than Tianhuo. This is not necessarily true. Zhang Wei, the young master of the ancient Zhang family in this generation, also has the appearance of a successor, but it is a pity that he is too young. I heard that Zhang Wei and that Taisha demon are brothers. Oops, it's a duel between brothers, it's going to be a good show now. Amidst the bursts of heated discussion, the burly bear-like Tianhuo, surrounded by flames, strode out. A shocking and terrifying pressure swept out unbridled, suppressing all spirits. At a glance, it seemed as if the arrival of an ancient god of fire shocked the world. This imperial power, this son is about to enter the imperial realm. If he hadn't followed the path of fellow physical practitioners, he would have reached the realm of Quasi-Emperor long ago. The ancient Tianhuo clan really gave birth to an extraordinary monster in this life. Feeling the shocking imperial pressure from Tianhuo, many elders and powerful men were moved. Although Tianhuo's cultivation level has not yet reached the Quasi-Emperor realm, his combat power is definitely beyond the Quasi-Emperor realm. Haven't come yet. The Tianhuo who strode out ignored the exclamations of the people from his ancestral land. He glanced around and didn't see Zhang Chen's figure, so he just sat cross-legged in the void. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 112. Call out. Not long after, an ancient temple appeared across the sky. On the temple, the word Zhang carved with ancient Taoist patterns looks dazzling. The ancient Zhang clan. At a glance, the origin of that sacred palace was revealed. This caused quite a fuss in the fifth ancestral land. First, because Zhang Wei of the ancient Zhang clan had extraordinary aptitudes and could be compared to Tianwu. The second reason is naturally because of the complicated grievances between Zhang Chen and the ancient Zhang clan. Ever since Zhang Chen came to the fifth ancestral land, the major ancient clans have been paying close attention. After meeting Zhang Chen and the ancient Zhang clan, when there was no interaction, all the major ancient clans felt relieved. As long as there was no reconciliation between Zhang Chen and the Zhang clan, they didn't have to worry too much. There were even many people there who were gloating over the misfortune. If it had been, the ancient Zhang clan did not offer Zhang Chen as a sacrifice. Not only would the ancient Zhang clan have one more top talent, but the position of successor has already fallen into their hands. What a pity! What a trick of fate! The clicking sound spread. The divine palace opened, and a young man wearing divine clothes stepped out of the air. It was Zhang Wei, the young master of the ancient Zhang clan. Zhang Wei's cultivation was much weaker than Tianwu's. He is at the third level of the supreme realm. But to the outside world, this kind of cultivation is definitely considered top-notch. This is enough to show how terrifying the ancient Zhang family is. After Zhang Wei arrived, he also looking around. After his eyes lingered on Tianwu for a while, Zhang Wei also waited quietly. As for Tianwu, there was no reaction at all to Zhang Wei's arrival. If Zhang Wei was given enough time, he would indeed become a powerful enemy. But now, the cultivation of the third level of the Supreme cannot attract his attention at all. Tianwu has only one target. That is Zhang Chen. Boom. Suddenly, a vast and boundless pressure swept across like a tsunami and mountain torrent. And arrived. Immediately afterwards, a jet-black magic light penetrated the void and fell into the ancient magic platform. After the magic light dissipated, 4 figures appeared clearly. On weekdays, the 3 ancestors of the Shenlong, who had never seen the dragon, all appeared. The person among the 3 ancestors is Zhang Chen, who is dressed in white like snow and has beautiful features. In the past few years of practice, Zhang Chen's appearance has not changed much. But his temperament has become more and more ethereal. Chen, standing there, like a banished immortal coming to the world. Is he the Taisha demon's son? Sure enough, the young master of the ancient Zhang clan looked very similar. Seeing Zhang Chen appear, countless creatures in the fifth ancestral land immediately looked at him. When they saw Zhang Chen's true appearance, many ancient clan experts couldn't help but exclaim. At this point, Zhang people from the ancient clan are even more intense. Although they have known for a long time that Zhang Chen is a member of their ancient clan, but when they saw Zhang Chen who looked very similar to Zhang Wei, they still couldn't hide their feelings. Moved. Hearing about it and seeing it with your own eyes are completely different things. In that ancient temple, a middle-aged couple was extremely excited and burst into tears. This couple was naturally Zhang Wei's biological parents. Seeing them, the children who were sacrificed back then are still alive and well. Naturally, they cannot calm down. Supreme 3 levels. On the ancient magic platform, after Zhang Chen arrived, he looked at Zhang Wei, whose eyes were somewhat complicated, and his heart moved slightly. It has to be said that his brother is really extremely talented. If he didn't have the system to join him, he would probably have to look at his back. After all, before Zhang Chen obtained the system, his cultivation was in the realm of life and death, and he had not even entered the realm of Shinto. Zhang Chen's current cultivation level has almost all improved by leaps and bounds in the past few years. It seems that it was not unreasonable for the ancient Zhang clan to choose him as a sacrifice. His master said. Everything has a cause and effect, and everything has its own destiny. This sentence really makes sense. You all know the matter, so I won't talk nonsense. Now, those who want to compete for the position of successor come to the stage to challenge. The 12th ancestor was still as usual, without any nonsense, and went straight to the topic. Whoosh, whoosh. After the 12 ancestors' voice fell, several figures jumped out of the sky. In addition to Tianwu and Zhongwei, there were also several ancient figures. The heirs of the clan are also challenging. The heirs of the ancient clans have all reached the supreme level of cultivation. Although they are several years older than Zhongwei, it can be seen that their talents are outstanding. Follow the rules and draw lots to determine the order of challenges. The 12th ancestor waved his sleeves, and a jade tube appeared, and he was ready to let Tianwu and others draw lots. No need to smoke anymore. At this time, Zhang Chen spoke. No need to draw lots. What's the meaning? Did he want to admit defeat directly? How can this be? Hearing Zhang Chen's words, countless creatures in the ancestral land looked at him in surprise and started talking. Even the 12 ancestors and other giant ancestors looked at Zhang Chen. You guys, come together. Zhang Chen calmly spoke without waiting for the 12 ancestors and others to ask. Go together. Does he want to challenge all the descendants of the ancient clan on his own? Isn't this kid too crazy? Indeed, they did not take our ancestral land into consideration at all. As soon as Zhang Chen said these words, the originally surprised and puzzled creatures in the ancestral land began to stir up and make noises. Obviously, Zhang Chen's arrogant behavior caused dissatisfaction among countless creatures in the ancestral land. But, those real creatures, there is no movement among the giants of the older generation. Ancient eyes. Chaos, divine body. Destiny and fate. Take any one of these and you are enough to be proud of your peers. Zhang Chen is the 3-in-1. It can be said that Zhang Chen is indeed such arrogant qualifications. You sure? The 12 ancestors ignored the noise of the creatures in the ancestral land and asked Zhang Chen some questions. If it was a one-on-one fight, the 12 ancestors would not be worried. But if one fights against many, it is possible that the boat will capsize. If so, in that case, it would be difficult to end. Certainly. While Zhang Chen was speaking, a clear air rose into the sky above his head, forming 3 incarnations. It was just one air that transformed the 3 pure beings. Grass. He actually still fights in his avatar. The young prodigy from a big clan couldn't help but cursed. It's okay to fight against many with one person, but he actually wants to fight the enemy with his incarnation? How much does this guy look down on the prodigy from their ancestral land? This time, even if Tianwu, Zhongwei, and the others all looked a little ugly. Although Zhang Chen had amazing talent and was now the number 1 in the world, they still couldn't bear to be so arrogant and contemptuous of them. I can deal with you alone. A descendant of a large clan roared angrily, intending to erupt with destructive power. Bang! The next moment, before he finished speaking, his whole person was directly blasted away and thrown out. This blow directly caused him to fall into coma, lying on the ground, unable to move. Swish, swish, swish. Tianwu, Zhongwei, and the others' pupils shrank sharply, and they immediately stepped away, extremely vigilant. Those prodigies of the ancestral land who had been noisy before were all stunned and stunned. A supreme being, unable to withstand even one move in the hands of Zhang Chen's incarnation? Is this still a human being? Well, let's go together. When the 12 ancestors saw this, he coughed slightly and left the ancient magic platform. It's not on the same level at all. The 3rd ancestor, the 7th ancestor, and the 12th ancestor looked at each other and all had this idea. They also felt more and more that it was a wise move to go to all the trouble to bring Zhang Chen back. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 113. Heavenly Fire Ancient Road. The Tianwu who moved sideways, after stabilizing his body, immediately turned his hands into seals. An extremely terrifying flame burned from Tianwu's body, and even the void became distorted. Above Tianwu's head, it was even more, a vision of a volcano appeared. The power of destructive fire contained in it seemed to be enough to burn down all the heavens and all realms. Eternal Thunder Pond. On the other side of Zhangwei, his movements were not slow. An ancient thunder seal appeared between his eyebrows, and billions of thunders erupted. The void for tens of millions of miles around was covered by rolling thunder, as if the end of the world was coming. With Zhangwei as the center, a vision of a supreme thunder pool appeared. That thunder pool seemed to have descended from the mythical era and contained the Taoist meaning from ancient times. Several other descendants of the great clans also unleashed their own trump cards. There were tornadoes and hurricanes that destroyed the world. The earth is tearing apart the sky. There is biting ice and snow, which freezes the sky for 9 days, and everything is sealed. There are also ripples in space, the thick earth, and the 2 elements of yin and yang. The way of heaven and earth. Zhang Chen took a look and immediately understood. The 5th ancestor cultivateth way of heaven and earth, to be precise, should be the way of nature. There is no distinction between strong and weak natural energy. How powerful it can be depends on the cultivation level of the person controlling it. Boom! Tianwu stepped into the air, as fast as a ghost, and rushed towards Zhang Chen at extremely high speed. Along the way he passed, billowing flames swept across, like a river of lava rushing past. Tianwu's target is not the 3 incarnations, but Zhang Chen's true body. Even if the avatar is killed, it will not cause any harm to Zhang Chen. Naturally, Tianwu will not do unnecessary work. Click. At this time, a bright thunder flashed, arriving first, catching up with Tianwu and rushing towards Zhang Chen. That person turned out to be Zhang Wei. The ancient Zhang clan has practiced the way of thunder for generations. When Zhang Wei was born, he was accompanied by an innate thunder seal and had unparalleled understanding. If it weren't for the disadvantages of age, even Tianwu would not be Zhang Wei's opponent. Seeing Zhang Wei and Tianwu, they went to kill Zhang Chen. Several other descendants of the great clans, in a rare collaboration, held back Zhang Chen's 3 incarnations. Thunder is destroyed. Zhang Chen didn't care about this. He pointed out, and a dazzling thunder flashed from his fingertips. The deafening sound of bombing followed. Zhang Wei, who was killing at extremely fast speed, froze in mid-air as if he was struck by lightning. Covered with black smoke. As for the terrifying thunder that surrounded Zhang Wei, it was directly annihilated and shattered. How come? Countless strong men in the ancient Zhang clan were shocked and moved, unable to believe it. They were not surprised that Zhang Wei was no match for Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen can set foot on the top of the world, so naturally he will not be in vain. However, no one would have thought that Zhang Wei was on top of Thunder Road and suffered such a disastrous defeat. You know, the innate thunder seal accompanying Zhang Wei frightened even the ancestors of the ancient Zhang clan. And now, Zhang Chen actually destroyed Zhang Wei's thunder path with just a finger? Why does Zhang Chen have such a terrifying thunder talent? This shouldn't be the case. This is not only the ancient Zhang clan, but also other major clans in the ancestral land. They are also quite surprised and have been discussing it heatedly. Zhang Chen looked normal at this. He really doesn't have the talent for thunder. However, he has the Thunder Emperor's magic, one of the 10 ancient evils. The Thunder Emperor's treasure technique can control thunder, and is known as law enforcement for the heavens, and the Emperor's proof with thunder. Naturally, Zhang Wei is no match for Zhang Chen when his cultivation level is crushed. Burn the sky. In this instant, Tianwu had already crossed the void and was in front of Zhang Chen. Above Tianwu's head, the volcano phenomenon was completely manifested at this moment. There was overwhelming volcanic lava, rushing down like a torrent, almost drowning. It has to be said that Tianwu's combat prowess is far beyond that of Zhang Wei, who is at the third level of the Supreme Realm. With half a foot on the Quasi-Emperor realm, his combat prowess at this time is already comparable to that of Zhang Wei, who is at the third level of the Supreme Realm. The Great Emperor. Because Tianwu controlled the general trend of the entire world, he blasted towards Zhang Chen. Under the suppression of this general trend, Zhang Chen became the center of the entire world. There was nowhere to escape, nowhere to hide. This is the fifth ancestral land, is the essence of cultivating the way of heaven and earth. If the three ancient ancestors take action, they can even command the general trend of the entire fifth ancestral land. Tisk tisk tisk. Seeing that the killing power of Tianwu is about to hit Zhang Chen. With Zhang Chen as the center, an endless vortex appeared in the void 10 feet in radius. The volcanic lava that swept in wantonly was swallowed up by the endless whirlpool. One of the 3,000 avenues, the great devouring technique. How come? The general trend of heaven and earth was directly swallowed up. What secret method is that? At this time, not only the Tianhuo ancient clan, but also the entire fifth ancestral land's ancient clans were shocked and moved. The reason why their fifth ancestral land has been able to stand still is because of the way of heaven and earth. Now, Zhang Chen actually is such casualness breaking the general trend of the world. If this secret method spreads, then their fifth ancestral land will no longer have to mess around. There is the original avenue of devouring the law. It seems that the rumors are true, he really got the origin of immortality in the immortal realm. If Xianyu knew about it, he would probably go crazy. The three great ancestors have seen the essence and are not worried at all. Because Zhang Chen's devouring secret method will not be so powerful even if it is spread. Poof. In the fifth ancestral land, when countless creatures were shocked, a sound of vomiting blood appeared. It was Tianwu whose killing technique was broken. Just when he wanted to change his offensive, he suffered devastating injuries. With just one blow, Tianwu fell. The power to fight again. From the beginning to the end, Zhang Chen stood on the same spot without moving. Bang bang bang. At this time, the battles in other parts of the ancient magic platform also ended one after another. At this point, this successor challenge is ended here. The strongest genius of the fifth ancestral land was crushed. The gap was so huge that it was not even on the level. Since there is no one to challenge him, from now on, Zhang Chen will be the descendant of his ancestral land in this life. After the battle ended, the 12 ancestors performed the succession ceremony. While Zhang Chen was performing the ceremony, he cloned himself to gain access to the system. Although he did not rob Tianwu and others of their physical origins, their original luck was taken away by Zhang Chen. Gone. After all, we had a good fight, so we can't leave everything behind. Looking at Zhang Chen, who was established as the successor, the fifth ancestral land's orthodoxy was silent. Although Zhang Chen was also considered a living creature of the ancestral land, all the ancient tribe is still in extremely complicated moods. Of course, at this moment, no one will jump out and do anything. No matter how unwilling they are, they still know why the three ancestors deliberately brought Zhang Chen back. With Zhang Chen with Chen's qualifications, I'm afraid that in the near future, there will be one more ancient ancestor in their ancestral land. 12 ancestors, let's go to the first demon cave now. After the complicated ceremony, Zhang Chen went directly to the three ancestors. Compared with the position of the successor, Zhang Chen cared more about the forbidden creatures in the first demon cave. Walk. When the three ancestors heard this, they did not hesitate and personally escorted Zhang Chen there. After getting the immortal talisman from the ancient ancestor, they had arranged everything. Then, Lord Zhantian, who had been hiding before, appeared at the right time. In this regard, the three ancestors did not say anything. Even in their opinion, one more half step is the best, and this trip is safer. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 114. Call. The first demon cave is located in the core area of the fifth ancestral land, in a dark abyss. Normally, except for the three great ancestors, even the heads of various ancient clans cannot easily get involved. In the abyss, there is a biting cold wind howling, and the billowing demonic energy spreads out, making people feel heart palpitating. That is the beginning demon cave. When they came to the middle area of the abyss, the three ancestors stopped. In the abyss in the distance, a dark ancient cave appeared. With the ancient cave as the center, there were mysterious Taoist talismans, covering the surrounding area. Tens of thousands of voids. Those Taoist talismans, at first glance, look like a nine-palace Taoist map. The beginning demon cave is right in the center of the Taoist map and is blocked by layers of laws. The sealing formation of the supreme ancient ancestor. Venerable Zhang Tian spoke, recognizing the supreme aura contained in the nine palaces Dao diagram. Zhang Chen's eyes showed double pupils as he looked towards the first demon cave. Under the double pupils, the nine palaces Dao diagram was sealed. The formation became void and faded. The true appearance of the demonic cave was clearly revealed in the double pupils. Well, that beginning core of the cave is a dry well. At the bottom of the well, there are 9 ascending pillars, turning into a sky-covering array. On each ascending pillar, there is a supreme true dragon entrenched. 9 chains of nothingness appeared from the mouths of the 9 true dragons, binding the creatures in the center of the ancient well. It was a figure with disheveled hair. He could not tell whether he was male or female, old or young. He could only roughly tell that he belonged to a human race. Even with the above Guchong Tong, he couldn't see the true appearance of that figure. To be honest, this was a bit beyond Zhang Chen's expectations. Previously, the 12 ancestors and others called them forbidden creatures, but Zhang Chen thought they were ancient creatures. Now it seems that it is much more likely that it is a human race. Be careful, the 3 ancestors said, and they headed to the first demon cave in a 4-sided battle formation. Zhang Chen was naturally in the center of the 4. Holding the ancient ancestors' ban, he broke through many obstacles. After the Dao 2 barrier was formed, the 5 of them entered the Shimo cave. The situation in the cave was just like what Zhang Chen had seen before. The core of the Shimo cave was the ancient dry well. Wow! Just when Zhang Chen was when the 5 people approached, the sound of chains shaking came from the dry well. That taboo creature, is he awake? This made the 3 great ancestors and Lord Zhantian stop immediately, with serious expressions. Because in that ancient dry well, there was a shocking and terrifying pressure that was gradually emerging. Even Lord Zhantian and others, the 4 half-stepping supremes, all felt frightened and unable to calm down. There is no doubt that the terrifying pressure is definitely at the level of the supreme ancestor. Crash! The sound of the chains is getting closer and closer. It seems that there is some creature was about to appear from the bottom of the well. This made Zhang Chen and the other 5 people subconsciously hold their breath. Not long after, a figure with disheveled hair hung in the air from the ancient well. On his body, there were 9 voids. The chain penetrates it and seals its 3 souls and body. Not possessed. Has it really returned to normal? The moment they saw that figure, the 3 ancestors' pupils shrank sharply. But they did not relax their vigilance. Although this forbidden creature no longer had the violent aura recorded in the rumors. But the other person's, the ancient ancestors' seal is still there, so naturally they can't be careless. Such a breath! Venerable Zhantian's eyes flickered with surprise. That supreme being with disheveled hair and the aura of Taoism on his body were too ancient. Even for his ancient ancestors from ancient heaven, the Taoism is far from that ancient. Could this be an ancient fossil that has survived from the mythical age? You finally came. When the three great ancestors and Lord Zhantien were all on guard, the Supreme Figure spoke. As he spoke, the Supreme Figure raised his head, revealing a withered face, like a mummy. Those deep-set eyes, the eyes that entered, fell on Zhang Chen, with a special meaning. Was the void blood in my body put in by my senior? The words of the Supreme Ancient Ancestor caused many thoughts to flash through Zhang Chen's mind. Although the other person only had 5 words, they contained a lot of information. How did you know that that bloodline is called the void bloodline? Hearing Zhang Chen's words, the Supreme Being seemed a little surprised and curious, and asked. Naturally, we know it from our bloodline. Of course Zhang Chen can't say that it was detected by the system. Void bloodline. Oh, everything is blurred, it really lives up to the name. The Supreme Ancient Ancestor seemed to be talking to himself. I have something to say to him. You go out first. After that, the Supreme Ancient Ancestor looked at Zhan Tianzun and the 3 ancestors. He didn't see any movement from the Supreme Ancient Ancestor. When his voice fell, Zhan Tianzun and the other 4 disappeared. Follow your words. Zhang Chen's eyes narrowed. This forbidden art actually exists in the world. Although Zhang Chen also gained the innate magical power to control all kinds of magic when he awakened the innate chaotic body. But compared to this, the unprecedented thing in front of him is Xiu's words and deeds are as follows, but they are too far off. To put it simply, they are not on the same level at all. Damn it! At this time, outside the Shimo cave. After reacting, Venerable Zhantian's face changed drastically, and he immediately wanted to break into the Shimo cave. But the 9 palaces Dao diagram seemed to come to life, sealing the entire Shimo cave. Even if the 3 ancestors sacrificed the ancient ancestors' ban, it would not make up for it. The 9 palaces Dao formation was controlled by someone else. Venerable Zhantian naturally saw it, and his face became even more ugly. Since Guziu had foreseen this scene, he should be fine. The faces of the 12th ancestor and the other 3 people were also quite solemn. But thinking of the ancient ancestor's immortal talisman before, they felt a little more relieved. You should be curious about the origin of this void bloodline, right? The Supreme Ancient Ancestor was sitting cross-legged in the void of the ancient well, looking towards Zhang Chen and saying, I not only want to know the origin of the void bloodline. I also want to know, does the senior's obsession with demon have something to do with the void bloodline? If it was really done by the void bloodline, is there a way to deal with it? Seeing the Supreme Ancient Ancestor, he seemed to have no ill intentions. Zhang Chen was not polite and went straight to the point. He came here for the sake of the void bloodline. Now that the rightful master is right in front of him, he naturally can't miss it. Anyway, he is waiting here. In front of existence, there is no need to hide and hold back, it is most appropriate to speak frankly. The first question is, this void bloodline is what I obtained from the forbidden area of mythology. According to what I have found, this kind of blood is probably dropped from God. After the void bloodline awakens, it will gradually weaken the person's origin. You can understand it as swallowing the origin. This is why I look like my energy is almost exhausted. The Supreme Ancient Ancestor smiled at Zhang Chen's straightforwardness and did not feel offended. The second question is that my obsession is related to the bloodline of nothingness, but there is no absolute relationship. In order to cope with the ever-fading origin, I came here and practiced the way of the ancestral demon. As a result, my practice went wrong and I became obsessed. It is precisely because he became a demon by cultivating the way of the ancestral demons that the Supreme Ancient Ancestor was willing to proclaim himself here. As for the 5th ancestral land, there have always been sacrificial rituals and customs for 2 reasons. For those sacrifices, one is to find a suitable blood vessel, and the second is to refine the essence and blood to maintain its origin. As for the void bloodline, is there any way to deal with it? I can only say, I'm sorry. Unless you are like me and find a suitable blood vessel, you can get rid of that void blood. The Supreme Ancient Ancestor's simple words answer Zhang Chen's question. He also clearly stated the cause and effect of the matter. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 115. Senior means that as long as you have enough origin, you can ignore the void bloodline. After listening to the words of the Supreme Ancestor, Zhang Chen not only did not despair, but actually breathed a sigh of relief. For other living beings, origin is equivalent to life. But Zhang Chen is not worried at all. Because, it is entirely possible to plunder the origins of others and let the void bloodline devour them. Although that will result in the loss of opportunities to exchange for opportunities in the system. But if you can get rid of the harm of the void bloodline, it will definitely be worth it. It can be understood this way. I know that you possess the divine body of chaos, and you have allowed the origin of the divine body to achieve nirvana. However, don't be too optimistic. Even the origin of the chaos divine body will be completely swallowed up by the void bloodline if it goes on for a long time. The Supreme Ancient Ancestor heard the meaning of Zhang Chen's words and thought that Zhang Chen had confidence in the chaos body, so he said. Senior doesn't seem surprised by my arrival. After Zhang Chen heard this, he asked about the things he was concerned about before. Back then, after I transferred the void bloodline into your body, I used a secret method to see your future. After all, from ancient times to the present, you are the only vessel that has successfully integrated the bloodline of nothingness. The Supreme Ancient Ancestor looked at Zhang Chen, with curiosity emerging in his deep-set withered eyes. Behind him, there was another word he didn't say. That is, in the future he saw, Zhang Chen found the way to control the bloodline of nothingness. Of course, this matter cannot be explained clearly, and I can only give some hints. After all, detecting the future is a violation of the secret of heaven. If the secret of heaven is leaked again, even the Supreme Ancient Ancestor realm, are all in danger of death. Although the Supreme Ancient Ancestor has monstrous cultivation and can even travel through time, he has not yet reached the point of true immortality. Above the Supreme Ancient Ancestor, there is also the rumored Holy Ancestor. That realm is truly one that transcends the three realms, is not among the five elements, and is not subject to disasters from the heavens. Does Senior know how to awaken the void bloodline? Now that he has figured out the cause and effect, Zhang Chen is ready to awaken his bloodline. Naturally, Zhang Chen will not fully believe what the Supreme Ancient Ancestor said, but there is nothing he can do about it. Because now, this bloodline is hidden in the body and will awaken sooner or later. In this case, why not awaken this weird bloodline now? The stronger your cultivation level, the more resistant you will be to the weakening of your bloodline. If you awaken now, it is very likely that something big will happen to you. The Supreme Ancient Ancestor heard this and reminded Zhang Chen. It doesn't matter, seniors just say it bluntly. Zhang Chen doesn't care about this. He still has a lot of origin accumulated in the system and has not exchanged it. Now, it is just a good time to try this void bloodline. Of course, when he spoke, the immortal killing sword formation was inside Zhang Chen's body. And the chaos bell will erupt at any time. If the Supreme Ancient Ancestor had any ill intentions, Zhang Chen would run away immediately. Seeing that Zhang Chen insisted on doing this, the Supreme Ancient Ancestor did not persuade him much. To be honest, he was quite curious. What can Zhang Chen do to subjugate and control the void bloodline that even he can't do anything about? Listen carefully. After that, the Supreme Ancient Ancestor spoke, and a mysterious Taoist voice appeared. To Zhang Chen's ears, those Taoist voices seemed to come from the age of mythology, and contained the supreme meaning. Inexplicably, something more appeared in Zhang Chen's mind. An ancient and mysterious secret method. That secret method is exactly the method to awaken the bloodline of nothingness. Now, after the sound of the Tao disappeared, Zhang Chen immediately activated the secret technique. Although it was the first time he heard it, the secret technique seemed to be deeply imprinted in his mind. When Zhang Chen used it, he was familiar with the road, and there was no trace of it. There was no sense of unfamiliarity. Gurgling. Immediately, Zhang Chen felt that mysterious power was surging from the source of his limbs. With the emergence of that mysterious power, Zhang Chen's cultivation level actually increased like a rising tide. Breakthrough in cultivation. Zhang Chen was slightly startled. What are the benefits of awakening the void bloodline? This is my original power. The supreme ancient ancestor above the ancient well spoke calmly, not surprised at all. After the void bloodline awakens, can it continue to pass on the origin of its predecessor? When Zhang Chen heard this, he immediately understood and asked. This should be. The reason why I was able to aspire to be the ancient ancestor in the first place was thanks to the void bloodline. But after the void bloodline is completely awakened, your origin will begin to fade away. The supreme ancient ancestor nodded. In the eyes of the supreme ancient ancestor, this behavior of the void bloodline is like raising pigs. First, they feed back the origin and fatten the piglets, and then plunder the origin and strengthen themselves. And this kind of plundering will become more and more intense as the cultivation level becomes stronger. Boom! A violent and shocking imperial power swept away from Zhang Chen. Quasi-Emperor Realm. Zhang Chen's cultivation level has already reached the 7th level of the Supreme Realm. Now, combined with the original power of the Supreme Ancient Ancestor, his cultivation has naturally skyrocketed. Even after he set foot in the Quasi-Emperor Realm, Zhang Chen's cultivation has not stopped. You know, the cultivation in the Imperial Realm is far from comparable to that in the Supreme Realm. The cultivation level required to break through the first level of the Quasi-Emperor Realm is comparable to the difficulty of the entire Supreme Realm. At this time, Zhang Chen, while controlling the rapid increase in cultivation level, he was distracted by sensing the blood in his body. Not long after, Zhang Chen's expression suddenly changed slightly. He sensed a trace of mysterious blood from his body. The blood seemed to be nothing, and he could only sense it, but could not capture it. It can't be seen. Obviously, it is the bloodline of nothingness. Appeared. At this time, the Supreme Ancient Ancestor had a bright light shining in his gray eyes. Almost at the same time, Zhang Chen also noticed that the origin of his innate chaotic body was being gradually covered by a mysterious force. This is virtualization. Zhang Chen could clearly sense that the origin of the chaotic body was passing away at an extremely small speed. Immediately, without any hesitation, Zhang Chen immediately took out the origin from the system and integrated it into his blood. As those origins merged, the mysterious power that originally covered the origin of the chaotic body gradually dissipated. At the same time, Zhang Chen felt that his whole person was in an endless void. It was as if his body had completely turned into nothingness. It works. Zhang Chen's heart relaxed and he was completely relieved. Although he didn't know why this void bloodline wanted to devour its origin. But judging from the current situation, Zhang Chen no longer has to worry about the void bloodline. It actually stopped. Could it be that he was really in control? The Supreme Ancient Ancestor, who was watching intently, was stunned when he noticed Zhang Chen's situation. He didn't see Zhang Chen do anything, and the origin of Zhang Chen's chaotic divine body was not damaged. So what exactly is this? What's going on? Why did the void bloodline suddenly become quiet? Could it be that Zhang Chen had any connection with the void bloodline? So, could Zhang Chen as a child be able to tolerate the void bloodline? Thank you, Senior, for telling me. Zhang Chen returned to his body and saluted the Supreme Ancient Ancestor. This time, the harvest was extremely huge. Not only did he understand the problem of void bloodline, but his cultivation also reached the 5th level of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. If he washes his face normally, if so, even with the assistance of endless cultivation resources, it would take more than half a year to achieve it. The origin of a supreme ancient ancestor, even if it only overflows a little, is terrifying. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon section author, 10 miles. Chapter 116. How did you do it? The supreme ancient ancestor's eyes were blazing, like two scorching suns, as if he wanted to see through Zhang Chen. However, in his eyes, there was only a mysterious and unpredictable chaos surging in Zhang Chen's body. Apart from that, everything was controlled by chaos obscures Zhang Chen's true identity. I don't know what's going on either. It seemed that after being contaminated by the origin of the chaos divine body, it suddenly became quiet. Zhang Chen naturally wouldn't tell him the mystery, and directly pushed it to the chaos divine body. Chaos god body. Sure enough, after hearing Zhang Chen's words, the supreme ancient ancestor started mumbling to himself. The origin of the chaos divine body and its magical effect? Or does it mean that one must possess the divine body of chaos to suppress the bloodline of nothingness? The junior took his leave. Zhang Chen saw that he had changed his mind and had no intention of staying any longer. Although this supreme ancient ancestor seemed to have no ill intentions, Zhang Chen still felt a little worried in front of such a supreme being. As for the Chaos Bell and the Zuxian sword formation, then it's enough to save your life. If you can't use it, you won't need it. After all, this is obtained with extremely amazing luck and origin. And there is only one chance. Having no bloodline was my fate, but my little friend blocked it for me. If you are willing, I would like to share two pieces of news with you to resolve this cause and effect. When Zhang Chen was about to leave, the supreme ancient ancestor seemed to have made some determination and spoke solemnly. It depends on how much the two pieces of information from the seniors are worth. Zhang Chen's eyes flashed slightly, but he did not agree or refuse. Although he deserves to be blessed with the awakening of the void bloodline. But really speaking, he did block a disaster for the supreme ancestor. And everything has its cause and effect and reincarnation. Zhang Chen is currently weak, so naturally he will not be able to produce any karma for the supreme ancestor. But if one day, Zhang Chen also sets foot in the realm of the supreme ancestor, then the situation will be different. Obviously, this supreme ancient ancestor also thought of this, so he decided to cut off the cause and effect. You probably still don't know where I'm from, right? When the supreme ancestor heard this, a scary smile appeared on his withered face. I heard from the ancestors of the ancestral land that the seniors came to the ancestral land suddenly. As for the origin of the senior, the junior and others are indeed unclear. Zhang Chen was slightly curious. Listening to the words of this supreme ancient ancestor, is he really an immortal existence that has survived from the age of mythology? Your heavens and realms are actually a big world. In ancient times, it was called the Xianhuang world. As soon as these words came out, Zhang Chen couldn't help but be stunned. This answer was far from what he expected. All the heavens and all the domains are one world? Is this possible? You know, all the heavens and all the domains are one world. Taoism and rules are all different. You can understand that the universe is equivalent to the 3,000 states in your universe. Although the 3,000 states are each their own, they are all subordinate to the heaven and earth. The supreme ancient ancestor saw Zhang Chen's expression and made an analogy. So, senior, are you from other big worlds? Countless thoughts flashed through Zhang Chen's mind. That's right. Originally, this was something that only those who had reached the level of the supreme ancient ancestor were qualified to know. The supreme ancient ancestor said. This news is indeed shocking. Zhang Chen came back to his senses, but there were still many thoughts flashing in his mind. For example, Could the strange source and evil tribe from the outer world that destroyed the mythical era in the past come from the great world where the supreme ancestor lived? Another example, this: what is the purpose of the supreme ancestor coming to all heavens and all realms? There is something even more shocking. In the near future, the world barriers between the Xianhuang world and the Xianming world want to dissipate. At that time, the two worlds will be in contact with each other, and at that time, there will be monstrous chaos. The supreme ancient ancestor told even more astonishing news. The Xianming world is obviously the world where he is located. Senior, do you think that if the two worlds go to war, who is more likely to win? Zhang Chen pondered for a long time before speaking. If the two worlds collide, a war will indeed be inevitable. Even if they are evenly matched, there will definitely be various disasters in the early stage, and countless lives will be robbed. I don't know much about the background of your Xianhuang world. Therefore, it's hard for me to make a prediction. But one thing is that the strange sources and evil tribes from outside the world that have been secretly threatening you have never invaded the Xianming world. The supreme ancient ancestor said. Zhang Chen fell silent. The persimmons are too soft to pinch. This is the eternal truth. Since those strange sources and evil races outside the world dare not attract the attention of the Xianming world, that means, in the eyes of the strange source and the evil tribe outside the world, they have to be dealt with better in all the worlds. The crises that will break out in the future will far exceed your imagination. Take the time to become stronger. The best is to be strong enough to unify the Xianhuang world. In that case, there may be hope. This is the first news I want to tell you. The supreme ancient ancestor said. Thank you, Senior. The truth or falsehood of this matter is naturally impossible to consider now. But since the supreme ancient ancestor dares to use this to determine cause and effect, the possibility of lying is very small. Moreover, there is no point in lying. In other words, the possibility of this matter the sex is quite high. Not only are there strange sources and evil clans outside the world, but other big worlds are also coming to join in. This is really an eventful year. The second news is related to breaking through the supreme realm. I know that somewhere in the Xianhuang world, there is an opportunity to reach the supreme realm. After that, the supreme ancient ancestor spoke again. Senior, are you serious about what you said? Zhang Chen was really shocked this time. The news told this time was even more shocking to Zhang Chen than the previous news. The supreme realm was something that his master and others only dreamed of. A realm that everyone wants to enter. Although Zhang Chen has no obstacles to his cultivation after integrating the origin of immortality. But, who knows if there will be a bottleneck in the supreme realm. Moreover, even if he can't use it, wouldn't it be nice to help his master and others break through? Background is strength. Zhang Chen naturally understands this truth. In your great world of Xianhuang, there is an imperial path. There is a villa on the imperial road. If you can find it, you may get a chance. This time, the supreme ancient ancestor spoke rather concisely. It seemed that he could not tell more specific information. If what the senior said is true, then the cause and effect of the senior with me should be over. Zhang Chen didn't ask any more questions, but spoke solemnly, as if he was swearing to the sky. Immediately, Zhang Chen felt that there were some fluctuations in his destiny. In the dark, it seemed that there was some special cause and effect that was dissipating. And birth. One is dissipating, and the other is reborn. Zhang Chen knows that what he just said is equivalent to an oath. Once he breaks it, he will be counterattacked by the cause and effect of heaven and earth. Well, see you next time. The supreme ancient ancestor naturally sensed the causal changes in Zhang Chen's body, and a smile appeared on his face. Farewell. Zhang Chen nodded, his figure flashed, and he left the demon cave. You even mentioned the chance of Emperor Lu, but his karma makes you so afraid. After Zhang Chen left, a misty voice appeared in the first demon cave, as if it had traveled through time and space from ancient times. In the void, a demonic figure with an unclear appearance emerged. Look! That astonishing Taoist aura is impressive, and it is also the unparalleled existence of a supreme ancient ancestor. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 117. No one can tell when something like cause and effect will turn into retribution for good or evil. If there is a chance to resolve it, it would naturally be better to resolve it. As for the demonic figure that emerged, the skinny ancient ancestor sitting cross-legged on the ancient well has already sensed it. At his level, almost no one can sneak in and get close quietly. It is true to say so. However, I still feel that there is no need to use the opportunity of Dilo to resolve it. The demonic figure spoke, as if he didn't quite agree with the skinny ancient ancestor's decision. The Imperial Road opportunity is no longer useful to me, so why hold on to it? By the way, what are you doing here all of a sudden? The skinny ancestor asked. A secret message just came. It seems that the people from the temple have sneaked into this big world. Just in case, it's better for you to completely seal yourself off. If they find you. The words of the demonic figure were a bit baffling to outsiders. But the skinny ancient ancestor had a moved look on his face, and there was a killing intent in his side. The world barrier should not have dissipated yet. Why can the people from the temple sneak in? After a while, the skinny ancient ancestor restrained his murderous intention, and there was some confusion in his tone. Who knows what means they used? All in all, watch out for yourself. The demonic figure finished speaking and disappeared. They are from the evil tribe outside the sky. Or is it from the strange source? The skinny ancient ancestor murmured to himself, with an unconcealable solemn look on his face. If he is at his peak, then as long as the Lord of the Temple does not come out, he will have nothing to fear. But now, he has just got rid of the void bloodline for more than 10 years, and his origin has not been restored at all. At this time, if the temple finds it, it will be really troublesome. Outside the demon cave, Zhang Chen. Seeing Zhang Chen escape from the air, Zhang Tianzun and the four of them immediately noticed it and hurriedly greeted him. When they met, they all used secret methods to detect Zhang Chen to prevent Zhang Chen from being possessed. Until after confirming that Zhang Chen was fine, the four of them felt relieved. What is your cultivation level? But the next moment, the four ancestors of Zhang Tian Venerable all reacted. From the time they were driven out of the first demon cave to now, less than half a quarter of an hour has passed. In this short period of time, Zhang Chen actually came from 7th level of the Supreme Realm, reaching the 5th level of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. Even though they had seen Zhang Chen's evil talent before, what happened now still shocked them and made them unable to move. This was like taking the elixir of immortality. The supreme elixir can hardly achieve such a big breakthrough, right? There is no problem with the foundation. Hey, is this bloodline fluctuation? The awakening of the void bloodline caused the cultivation level to skyrocket. The bloodline of nothingness can still have such shocking magical effects. After being shocked, their four ancestors also immediately sensed the changes in Zhang Chen's foundation and bloodline. After seeing that his foundation was intact, they were relieved and started talking about the void bloodline. Thanks to the help of the seniors at the first demon cave, not only did my bloodline awaken, but my cultivation level also increased greatly. When Zhang Chen saw this, he told the matter about the void bloodline in detail. As for the Xianming world and the chance of the Emperor's path, Zhang Chen did not say anything about it. For the sake of conservatism, Zhang Chen did not say anything about this matter. I think it's better to communicate with his master first before talking. In any case, Zhang Chen trusts his master more than the ancient heaven and the fifth ancestral land. And after hearing that Zhang Chen can suppress the void bloodline, Zhang Tianzun the four ancestors were relieved. After that, they took a look at the first demon cave and immediately took Jiang Chen away. Standing in front of a supreme ancestor to discuss, it really made them feel a little uncomfortable. Reply: after arriving at the ancestral demon palace, Jiang Chen followed the rules and met the giants of the major ancient clans one by one. After being challenged by the successors, the major ancient ancestors completely gave up on the position of successors and their attitude was quite enthusiastic. They knew clearly that they would not if something unexpected happens. It will only be a matter of time before Jiang Chen reaches the ancestor level. At this time, naturally no blind guy will cause trouble. The inheritance ceremony lasted for 3 days and 3 nights before it gradually came to an end. Within these 3 days, the news that Jiang Chen became the 5th successor of the ancestral land also spread quickly. For a time, all the heavens and all the realms were boiling with it, and heated discussions were written off. Jiang Chen was originally the holy son of the Taisha demon sect, and later became the ancient heaven heir. It can be said that the entire heaven territory is vaguely respected by Jiang Chen. Now, Jiang Chen has actually become the heir of the 5th ancestral land. This kind of background and backing is simply enough to scare people to death. Looking at all the heavens and all the realms, there has never been and no one has such terrifying power as Jiang Chen. The first ancestral land. In an ethereal and mysterious ancient fairy palace. This Taisha demon son is actually a creature from the 5th ancestral land. A young man wearing colorful fairy clothes, sitting cross-legged in the sky. Behind him, there are faintly colorful fairy birds, which contain the mysterious path. This young man is the descendant of the first ancestral land, Yejin Wu. The news has been confirmed. Jiang Chen, the demon son of Taishu, is indeed a creature of the ancient Jiang clan in the 5th ancestral land. As for why he appeared in the heavenly realm and became the holy son of the Taisha demon sect, it is still unclear. In front of Yejin Wu, a creature surrounded by immortals said respectfully. Although the 9 ancestral lands are far apart, they all have spies arranged among them. When the news spread to other regions, the 9 ancestral lands, the Taoism of the great ancestor land has long known about this matter. A heavenly realm, an ancestral land, if he is allowed to become a descendant of the ancient immortal court. Yejin Wu murmured to himself, with a strange flash of color in his eyes. Jiang Chen's current power background is already extremely terrifying. If the various branches of this ancient immortal court are branched out, their power will reach a point where no one dares to offend them. The 10th ancestral land. A huge ancient black turtle lies in the star field. No wonder there was no news at all during this period. It turned out that he had gone to the 5th ancestor's land. Bai Ziu, who had the fairy light looming on the huge dragon bone, also got the news. Bai Ziu has been waiting since the immortal realm suppressed Zhan Wudi and other ancient heavenly sequences. After all, according to Jiang Chen's past madness, not maybe he had no reaction to his provocation. Who would have thought that at this time, he would actually receive news that shocked him? The 5th ancestral land actually established Jiang Chen as its successor. This is probably a surprise to all the people in the world. Domain, no one could have predicted. Taishumatsi is still in the 5th ancestral land. Young master, do we want to go? The three-eyed creature asked. Judging from the news from the 5th ancestral land, Jiang Chen's cultivation has reached the 7th level of the supreme realm. To be honest, such a terrifying cultivation speed is the result of the three-eyed creature. All living beings are extremely frightened. You must know that it has been less than a year since Jiang Chen set foot in the supreme realm. If this continues, it may not take long for Jiang Chen to break through the realm of the emperor. So, now is the best time to suppress Jiang Chen. If I go to the 5th ancestral land now, I'm afraid I won't even be able to enter the ancestral land's barrier. Bai Ziu shook his head and rejected the proposal directly. Although the 9 ancestral lands have strong and weak foundations, they are not obvious and there is no qualitative difference. Unless Jiang Chen is willing to fight, it is impossible for them to go to the 5th place. Ancestral Land Challenge. Even if I go, I'm afraid I won't see Zhang Chen. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section author, 10 miles. Chapter 118. It seems that we can only wait until the innate luck appears again. When the three-eyed creature heard this, he spoke with some regret. 3 of the 9 paths of innate destiny have already appeared. No one knows how long it will take for the next 6 paths to appear. Keep waiting like this, but it is really laissez-faire. Zhang Chen grows up. From your tone, you seem to think that I will not be his opponent? Bye. Xiu heard this and said with a chuckle. Young master, that's not what I meant. I just think that guy is so weird. The three-eyed creature was startled and quickly bowed and replied. That Taisha demon son is indeed very strange. However, no matter how weird he is, he still has to bow his head in front of me. Bai Xiu's tone was calm, but a violent and domineering aura broke out all over his body. At this moment, the void for thousands of miles around was surging like a stormy sea. That terrifying aura was like the arrival of an ancient supreme immortal spirit. King of all heavens and realms. The underworld. In a lifeless star field, an ancient bronze tower stands. On the top of the ancient pagoda, a figure with white hair sat quietly cross-legged. Tianyu, the 5th ancestral land. There was a dazzling light in Gu Senluo's eyes. After getting the news about the 5th ancestral land, an idea came to his mind. If Zhang Chen is suppressed and brought under his command, it will be equivalent to gaining the heavenly domain and the 5th ancestral land. After this thought appeared, he could no longer suppress it and filled Gu Senluo's mind. Dead slave. After a long time, Gu Senluo calmed down. Little lord. A lifeless figure wearing a grey robe appeared out of the sky. Tell the high priest to pay attention to the birth of innate luck. Next time, I will join the world to fight for luck. Gu Senluo ordered. Yes. When the grey-robed dead slave heard this, he immediately disappeared without asking a single word. Zhang Chen. A strange smile appeared on Gu Senluo's face. Fighting for innate luck is fake, but targeting Zhang Chen is real. The 9 ancestral lands, because of their special location, do not have to compete for luck. But Tianyu will never let go of the appearance of innate luck. Naturally, as long as you keep an eye on your innate luck, you can meet Zhang Chen. Fairyland. No Man's Land. Quaint mountain village. The 7th level of Supreme Realm. The young man who was lying lazily on the willow tree couldn't help but sit upright. When the celestial immortal Dao Palace suppressed the immortal Wu Dao, Zhang Chen's cultivation level had just reached the level of Supreme Being. Now, in just a few months, he has broken through the 7th level in a row. This crazy speed of cultivation is even more terrifying than what he did back then. Can't wait any longer. Sun Tianji spoke slowly and made a decision. If in the past, Zhang Chen only made him a little afraid. But now, he has a real sense of urgency and crisis. If he continues to let Zhang Chen grow, he will die in 2 days. In 3 years, Zhang Chen will definitely be able to compete with him. Giving potential opponents the opportunity to continue to grow is a stupid thing to do. It is indeed time to be born. An old face appeared on the old willow tree, and he agreed with Sun Tianji's idea. Judging from the sneak attack on the 10th ancestral land, those evil cultivators may also know Sun Tianji's identity. In this case, it is better to be like Bai Zi like you and Zhang Chen, they were born generously. Walking under the watchful eyes of all the heavens and realms, even if those evil cultivators wanted to take action, they would not be able to find a chance. Furthermore, the unity of the 5 imperial seals is a powerful force. It is what must be done. Regardless of whether it is time to inherit or not, it will not be a bad thing to take back the other 4 imperial seals first. The border of all realms. A barren land with no life left. There are news coming out from the immortal realm, the nether realm, and the first ancestral land. Now, the identities of the heirs of the 5 imperial seals have been confirmed. 5 mysterious creatures in black robes gathered together. From the 5 of them, the ancient numerical symbols can be recognized. They are the mysterious evil cultivators who are constantly being searched for by all the heavens and realms. It turned out that of the 9 evil cultivators, one was killed by Zhang Chen with the immortal killing sword, and his soul flew away. The other 3 encountered the supreme ancient ancestor when they attacked the 10th ancestral land. Needless to say, the result was the matter of Tianxian Dao Palace and the 10th ancestral land has been completely eliminated and frightened. Now, the 5 of them are surrounded by Half-Step Supreme, and there is no possibility of success. Pass this matter back and ask the ancient ancestors to decide. The 5 mysterious evil cultivators, after a brief discussion, disappeared into the sky. After the 5 of them left, less than half a stick of incense had passed, and terrifying auras descended. Let them run away again. These evil cultivators have average cultivation, but their escape methods are truly astonishing. It's useless to say more, just keep looking. I don't believe they can always be so lucky. Indeed, as long as they are still in 10,000 realms, they will definitely be able to find their home base. Those terrifying auras coming are from the ancestors of various regions. Heavenly Domain. Taisha Demon Sect. Xianming World. On the Imperial Road, there is the opportunity of the Supreme Ancestral Realm. After hearing the news told by Zhang Chen, even the old man 9 demons couldn't calm down. Whether it was the Xianming World or the Imperial Road, old man 9 demons had heard of it all. However, the barriers between the worlds were about to dissipate and the 2 worlds were about to collide. This was something he never expected. As for the opportunity to break through to the supreme ancestral realm hidden on the Imperial Road, it shocked the 9 demons old man even more. Since immortal ancient times, the existence of the supreme ancient ancestor has gradually disappeared. Nowadays, looking at the entire universe, there are not many supreme ancient ancestors. What's more important is that since the ancient times, there have been very few people who have achieved even half a step to supreme, breaking through to the supreme ancestral realm. After countless years, the half-step of supremacy in all heavens and realms has reached an astonishing number. Just like in the boundless sea of demons of his Taisha demon sect, there are several ancestors sleeping like living fossils. If this is the case for one Taoist tradition, it can be imagined that the whole world will be affected. It can be said that once these 2 news spread, there will be endless waves of terror in the entire world. Do you think that ancient ancestor can be trusted? After a long time, the old man 9 demons calmed down and looked at Zhang Chen solemnly. Obviously, the old man 9 demons had already put Zhang Chen on the same level. The credibility is very high. Zhang Chen said. In this case, these 2 pieces of news must be reported to the ancient heaven and the 5th ancestral land. After hearing this, the 9 demons old man immediately made a decision. The announcement of these 2 pieces of news will definitely make the relationship between the 3 parties stronger. This will also be more beneficial to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said, naturally, there would be no objection. His master has lived for countless years and has already matured into a mature man. His thinking about things is far beyond his ability. Boom. At this moment, an extremely terrifying immortal power suddenly descended from the 9 heavens. The whole world is shaking violently at this moment, and millions of living beings feel their hearts palpitating. The 9 demon old man and Zhang Chen also sensed the endless immortal power in an instant. This does not mean that Zhang Chen's perception is comparable to that of his master. It is that the immortal power is so terrifying that all living beings can sense it in an instant. Innate luck. Wrong. This immortal power. The eyes of the old man 9 demons flashed, and he took Zhang Chen and appeared in the sky above Taisha demon sect. Master. Old Lord. Almost at the same time, Wei Wuji, Qi Qingshan, Tang Shanhai, and others all gathered together. That is. The nine-demon old man ignored it and looked up at the shocking vision that appeared above the sky. In the sky, fairy lights are shining all over the sky, and a mysterious world emerges clearly. Immortal Ancient Era. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 Miles. Chapter 119. Immortal Ancient Era. Unbelievable murmurs emerged from the mouth of the nine demons old man. There was an unconcealed shock in those voices, which showed the shock in the nine demons old man's mind. Immortal Era. Zhang Chen was startled after hearing his master's words. The mysterious world that emerged from the immortal light was from the immortal ancient era? What is going on? Why did the scene from the immortal ancient era appear in this life? Could it be that, thinking of this, Zhang Chen immediately focused his attention and perceived it with the laws of time and space. The transformation of three pure things into one qi was also activated at this moment. Time flows. After a moment, Zhang Chen's expression perked up. Sure enough, as Zhang Chen had guessed, in the fairy light that filled the sky, there was the aura of the river of time looming. This means that the immortal era appearing in the sky is not a strange phenomenon. It was a period of real existence in the immortal ancient era. Whoa! At this time, the void was torn apart. Two figures appeared in the Taisha demon sect. Those two people were clearly the Lord of Heaven and the Lord Zhantian. This is the 10,000 Immortals conference recorded in ancient books. After the Lord of Heaven arrived, he said, "Is it really the 10,000 Immortals conference?" The old man of the nine demons was not surprised when he heard this. He had obviously made speculations before. Zhang Chen, Wei Wuji, Qi Qingshan, and others were puzzled. Even the oldest high priest had never heard of Wangxian. General Assembly. The 10,000 Immortals Conference was a grand event that took place in the early years of the ancient immortal era. It is said that this was a conference held by the ancient immortals who first broke through to the immortal realm to teach them the ways of immortality. It is very likely that the ancient immortal court, which once unified the immortal domain, evolved from the 10,000 Immortals Conference. When Venerable Zhantian saw this, he explained the origin of the 10,000 Immortals Conference to Zhang Chen and others. This shocked Wei Wuji and others. The 10,000 Immortals Conference is not just as simple as teaching immortality, right? Zhang Chen asked. If it were just like this, with his master's character, he wouldn't have shown such a shocked expression. It's really more than that. According to ancient records, the original cultivation method of ancient immortals was borrowed from the age of mythology. In the mythological and immortal system, it is the path of immortal seed. Said the Lord Zhantian. The ancient heavenly court existed countless epochs ago, and its historical background is unparalleled in the heavenly realm. In the mythical era known as rumors to the outside world, the ancient heavenly court found out a lot of information. Fairy seed. Now, Wei Wuji and others looked at it curiously. Immortal seeds are also called Hedeo seeds. To put it simply, it is to plant an immortal seed in the body to transform into an immortal. Speaking of which, the Deo fruit derived from the same imperial Deo domain follows a similar path. Venerable Zhantian simply compared the two. The cultivation system after the ancient immortal era is all about condensing Deo fruit in the imperial Deo realm. Then, from the Deo fruit, the origin of immortal Deo is derived, thus leaping forward step into the fairy land. The system of cultivating immortals in the mythical age relies on the innate seeds of harmony to conquer the fairy land. Of these two paths, it is hard to say which one is stronger and which one is weaker. After all, the top giants have both. Was born. It can only be said that with different times, the cultivation methods will also be different. In today's era, the seeds of Hedeo have become legends. Naturally, the cultivation system of the mythical age is no longer suitable for cultivation. In other words, are there Hedeo seeds in this 10,000 Immortals conference? After hearing this, Zhang Chen's eyes lit up. From the words of Lord Zhan Tian, it is not difficult to infer that these two paths may not conflict. The loss of the Hedeo seeds should be due to the complete destruction of the mythical age. And if the Hedeo seeds and one's own Deo fruit can be superimposed on each other, then, this is not absolutely impossible. At least, for Zhang Chen, it is extremely possible. Because, the path Zhang Chen takes is the bodies transform the world and accommodate all Dharma. It is not impossible for him to integrate and practice the immortal seed Dharma from the mythical age. According to legend, the first few 10,000 Immortals conferences were essentially an opportunity to compete for immortal seeds. Until later, I don't know what happened, and the 10,000 Immortals conference has not appeared since then. After that, the ancient immortal court came into being, unifying all the immortals in the immortal realm and ruling over the 10,000 realms. Zhan Tianzun nodded. Do you want to fight for the immortal seeds? After saying this, Lord Zhan Tian came back to his senses and understood the meaning of Zhang Chen's words. If this time and space is real, that means that the things inside can also be brought out. Zhang Chen didn't hide anything, he said. This is dangerous. The 9-demon old man, the Lord of the Heavenly Court, and the Lord Zhan Tian all spoke. Although they don't know yet whether they can enter the 10,000 Immortals conference. But even if they can enter, they don't want Zhang Chen to take such a risk. Because there is no way necessary. Zhang Chen's qualifications are enough to stand out from his peers. As long as he practices steadily, it will not be difficult to conquer the supreme ancestral realm in the future. And the current 10,000 Immortals conference has manifested itself from the long river of time. The long river of time, what is it? It is the river of the entire history, and it is the most mysterious place in the world. Regardless of the supreme ancestors, they can swim in the long river of time and are not affected by the cause and effect of the long river of time. However, almost no one dares to change anything in the long river of time. A big event. Even if the news of a big event is leaked, there may be an inexplicable disaster. From ancient times to the present, there are precedents of supreme ancestors losing their lives over time. And Zhang Chen is only at the 5th level of the Emperor realm. Once if something goes wrong, you will be lost in the long river of time in just an instant, or even lose your soul. The so-called opportunity is always accompanied by danger. If you continue to practice step by step, when will you be able to reach the peak? Zhang Chen shook his head slightly and his attitude was very firm. After hearing this, the Lord of Heaven and Lord Zhan Tian wanted to persuade, but they were stopped by the 9 demons old man. The 9 demons old man understood the reason why Zhang Chen wanted to take the risk. Now the source of the strangeness and Tianwhy, not to mention the looming evil clan, there is also the threat of a big world. In this troubled time, there really is not much time for Zhang Chen to grow up slowly. Since this 10,000 Immortals conference has appeared, it has its own reason for appearing. Let's take a look first and then talk. In response to the doubtful looks of the 2 lords of heaven, the 9-demon old man said this. At this time, almost all the top Taoist traditions in the heavens and realms were alarmed and gathered in the heavens one after another. For a time, people everywhere in the heavens, an extraordinary and powerful person appeared and suppressed the world. Phew! At this time, a dazzling fairy light fell from the sky and appeared in the demon Xiao Days Hu. That is. The monks from Taisha demon sect sensed it, and after looking at it, their expressions moved. The first ancestral descendant. The person who landed directly on their days who like a provocation was none other than Bai Zihu. Oops, are you looking for Taisha demon directly? The behavior of this first descendant is even more arrogant than the Taisha demon son. I wonder if Taisha demon will appear this time. Those top Dos who states that appeared in the Tianyu states all felt it, and heated discussions started. Whoosh! In the midst of these heated discussions, one after another fairy lights fell from the sky and appeared in the demon sky road. State. There are 4 immortal lights in total. In each immortal light, a figure appears, each with amazing momentum and extraordinary talent. Immortal Domain, Sun Tianji. Nether Domain, Gu Senluo. The first ancestral land, Yejin Wuo. Gu Senluo. The 4 descendants of the immortal court have all arrived at this moment. The 5 of them officially meet. Fantasy, Invincible from the Holy Son of the Demon Section Author, 10 miles. Chapter 120. Is that person a creature from the Imperial Forbidden Land? The rumors are true, there are really descendants of the ancient immortal court hidden in the Imperial Forbidden Land. Looking at that momentum, his cultivation level is not weaker than that of the descendant of the first ancestral land, and he is also an ancient genius. Great, in this way, in the battle of luck, there is still hope for our fairyland. In the immortal domain, countless Taoists were excited when they saw Sun Tianji with a lazy face and a green leaf in his mouth. The Imperial Forbidden Land is a mysterious place in the immortal domain that has been passed down since ancient times. Although during the ancient immortal court period, the Imperial Forbidden Land already existed. But in this long and extremely long time, almost no living beings have been born in the Imperial Forbidden Land. It's finally out. In the Immortal's home, an ancestor-level giant appeared and said excitedly to himself. Ever since the death of Xian Wuodao in the Battle of Tianxian Dao Palace, the immortal realm has been suppressed by Tianyu. Now that the 3 innate fortunes have appeared, they're immortals, not to mention that Tianyu didn't get it. Even other scattered luck was blocked by Tianyu and robbed a lot of it. Later, Zhang Chen finally calmed down and Bai Ziu jumped out again. It can be said that the chi of this life in the battle over fate, they in the immortal domain have completely become bystanders. Now, seeing Sun Tianji, who is comparable to Zhang Chen and Bai Ziu, the immortal family is naturally excited. Xian Wuodao and others have fallen, and the past cannot be forgotten. It's redeemable. What's important is now. The division of the fate of the heavens and their fairyland must not be missed. This is related to the fate of the fairyland for countless years to come. Underworld, Yin-Yang Tower of Life and Death. The top Taoism in the Nether Realm is excited because of the white-haired Gu Senluo. The Yin-Yang Tower of Life and Death is the oldest Taoist system in the Nether Realm. It can be said that the system of cultivating immortals in the Nether Realm is its spread from the Yin-Yang Tower of Life and Death. Nowadays, the top 10 lineages in the Nether Realm are all closely related to the Yin-Yang Tower of Life and Death. But except for the 10 main lineages, there are very few creatures in the Nether Realm who know about the Yin-Yang Tower of Life and Death. It can be said that the status of the Yin-Yang Tower of Life and Death in the Nether Realm is equivalent to the Imperial Forbidden Land in the Immortal Realm. It has always been hidden in the world and has never appeared. Therefore, there are very few people who know it. There are actually descendants of the ancient immortal court in the first ancestral land. In this way, the descendants of the 5 great immortal courts and the 9 great ancestral lands occupy 2. Sure enough, the background of the 9 ancestral lands is terrifying. Yejin Wuo, who had a faint manifestation of colorful immortal birds behind him, was also recognized. Compared with the heavens and the realms, the boundaries of the 9 ancestral lands are almost insignificant. But now, the ancient immortal courtyard, the heirs of the 5 imperial seals, were directly divided into 2 from the 9 ancestral lands. It can be seen how shocking the foundation of the 9 ancestral lands is. The 4 of them are all ancient geniuses who have been sealed to this day, right? The aura of Taoism is indeed somewhat different from that of this world. He should be a genius from ancient times. In this way, only Taishu Devil is the genius born in this life. Taishu Matsi has been practicing for less than 20 years, but he can actually compete with these ancient geniuses. Such qualifications are really rare in the ages. Indeed, If Taisha Demon's son is given enough time to grow up, even the ancient geniuses would have to bow their heads in front of him. After recognizing the origins of the four descendants of the immortal court, the Wanyu Taoist tradition constantly compared them with Zhang Chen. In terms of qualifications, Zhang Chen, who possesses a chaotic divine body and was born with destiny, is the most outstanding. This does not mean that the talents of Yejin Wu, Bai Ziu, Sun Taiji, and Gu Senluo are not good. In fact, those who can become the heirs of the ancient immortal court all have shocking talents. Even at the beginning, he had the body of a 7-star immortal king. The immortal Wuodao has not been recognized by the emperor's seal. However, as the old saying goes, you have to throw away goods when comparing goods, and you will die when comparing people to others. The comparison between the two makes it more and more obvious that Zhang Chen's qualifications are it's scary. Of course, qualifications are qualifications. The current competition is not about the quality of qualifications, but the strength of combat power. Have they all appeared? In the Taisha demon sect, Zhang Chen's eyes were also attracted by Yejin Wu and the other 4 people. For Yejin Wu and the others, who all exuded the aura of the great emperor, Zhang Chen was not afraid at all. He even felt happy. Xiu, the stronger the behavior, the stronger the qualifications. Naturally, the origin and luck will become stronger. It can be said that the 4 powerful Yejin Wu are like 4 big fat sheep in Zhang Chen's eyes. In Zhang Chen's eyes, when looking at the 4 people, Sun Tianji and other 4 emperor seal heirs also looked at Zhang Chen. At this sight, the expressions of the 4 of them changed. This breath. Yejin Wu, who had 5 colored fairy lights looming in his eyes, showed a strong expression of shock. Taoism in the imperial realm. Bai Ziu, who had a looming fairy light on his body, also narrowed his eyes slightly and saw Zhang Chen's imperial aura. Has he set foot in the quasi-emperor realm? The white-haired Gu Senluo raised his eyebrows and was extremely shocked. During the battle between the successors of the 5th ancestral land, Zhang Chen was clearly the supreme 7th heaven. At that time, many spies from the 9 ancestral lands witnessed it with their own eyes. It's impossible to get it wrong. So, Zhang Chen broke through to the quasi-emperor realm in a short period of time after becoming a descendant of his ancestral land. Quasi-emperor realm 5th level. Sun Tianji, who came from the imperial forbidden land, unconsciously bit off the green leaves in his mouth. He had already detected Zhang Chen's cultivation level. A few days ago, it was still the 7th level of the supreme realm. Now, he has reached the 5th level of quasi-emperor realm. Damn, what magic medicine did you take? Has your cultivation actually improved by such a rapid pace? At this moment, Sun Tianji finally understood why he was so afraid of Zhang Chen. With Zhang Chen's cultivation speed, he will definitely reach the great emperor realm in another year and a half. Click. At this moment, a sound that sounded like the sky was being shattered suddenly appeared. The 10,000 Realms Taoism, which had been constantly discussed, immediately raised its head. Look around. I saw a hazy and mysterious glow area appearing above the sky. After that ray of light, the immortal ancient era, which was still somewhat illusory and misty, emerged clearly. It seems that as long as you pass through that glow, you can return to the ancient era. There was actually a handover between the 2 eras. After a long period of dead silence, an uncontrollable sigh slowly appeared. This is really a long time coming. Throughout the history of the past and present, such a terrifying thing has never happened before. Bang! Suddenly, a figure appeared. Rebounded out of the glow without any warning. This immediately attracted the attention of billions of powerful men. After a closer look, I realized that the figure did not come from the ancient immortality. Instead, there was a powerful man using a secret method. Wanted to pass through the glow, but was blocked. Creatures in the realm of immortality cannot pass through such restrictions. In addition, it seems that there is also a limitation of bone age. It seems that only the younger generation can return to the ancient times. But then the uncertainty would be too great. After that, some top experts used secret techniques to test and came to conclusions one after another. Whoa! While countless Taoists were discussing heatedly, a figure stepped out of the sky and disappeared into the glow. That person just now. Taisha Demon's son. No way. Dare Tianyu try his hand at Taisha Demon directly? Aren't they afraid that something unexpected might happen and Taisha Demon's son be robbed? After seeing the entering figure clearly, the already hotly debated Dao realm in the heavens became even more noisy. They were also thinking about whether to send a few young people to test the water. As a result, Taisha Demonzi actually took one step and broke in directly. This naturally shocked the Wanyu Taoism.